name is Ravi Verma. I am the org whisperer at Smooth Apps, and I'm also a Scrum.org professional Scrum trainer. Today I want to talk to you about planning for travel. So one of the quotes that I read about planning for travel is, when you're planning for travel, lay out all your clothes and all your money and put it on the bed, and now take half the clothes and twice the money. I found that to be useful when I'm traveling with my wife. I also take a completely empty suitcase because the School of Hard Knocks has taught me that she's probably going to pick up lots of interesting things along the way, especially gazillion seashells if we happen to go to the ocean. And usually we'll be trying to stuff things in all our bags, which will be stuffed to the gills when we are leaving, and we'll have to buy an extra suitcase. So coming back to our original conversation, when you're packing for travel, take half the clothes and twice the money. But what does this have to do with Agile enablement or Scrum? One of the most important lessons that I learned about Scrum was that Scrum is not necessarily going to solve all your problems, but Scrum is like doing an X-ray on your organization and putting 1,000-watt flashlight on your organization. So what Scrum is going to do is create transparency and illuminate in all its glory, good, bad, and ugly of your organization. And what Scrum does is, on a cadence, it provides you the opportunity through the retrospective to inspect your organization and to figure out what small enhancement you are going to make to your organization between this sprint and the next sprint. So it's almost like installing a thin vertical slice of organizational improvement every 30 days or less. One early indicator of the success of Agile enablement or Scrum adoption in any engagement is how many minutes the CIO is going to spend in every sprint in removing impediments. In my experience, a good early indicator of failure is a CIO who is hands-off, who says that he or she is too busy to worry about or get engaged with this Scrum business. It's low-level stuff. It's for the minions. If you have a CIO in the early stages of your pre-sales engagement or pre-sales stage who is exhibiting this kind of behavior, or who doesn't even show up for the conversation, I would recommend run for the hills, because you will just end up wasting a lot of time and money, and life is short. That engagement might prevent you from working with another client who is sincerely interested in Agile enablement and Scrum. Many companies with this kind of a command and control culture have a tendency to throw money at the problem. So they might spend lots of money on tools like Jira or CA Agile Central, Azure DevOps. They throw money at expensive consultants, and they feel that they can solve problems by throwing money. Instead, the true currency that will help you enable agility is time. Time from the people who have the power, organizational power, to either remove organizational dysfunction, or in some cases look in the mirror and stop their own dysfunctional behavior. And typically these are people at the C-suite level, right? So if you are evaluating a prospect for Agile enablement, here's what I would like to tell them. When preparing for Agile enablement, when preparing to travel on the path of Agile enablement and Scrum adoption, lay out your budget of money and lay out your budget of time on the table. And now half the money and double the time. What metrics or indicators? Agility, Agile enablement, and Scrum is about transparency, inspection, and adaptation. So if we were to use evidence to gauge the efficacy of our investment, both money and time, especially from the C-suite, what indicators might empirically help us inspect the efficacy of our portfolio investment? Some indicators that you might consider are the number of open impediments, the age of open impediments, the cycle time of closing impediments, how many calendar days does it take to close an impediment, and your velocity or throughput of resolved impediments. Executives love metrics when it comes to using metrics as a technique to hold delivery teams accountable. Well, now if you have servant leaders, you can actually use the same metrics to hold them accountable and teach them the meaning of servant leadership. So, quick recap in this conversation, I wanted you to watch out for some early indicators of an organization that might not be ready for agile enablement or Scrum adoption, and that is, how many minutes is the CIO going to spend every sprint in removing impediments. The second is, as you are setting expectations, help them identify their budget in terms of money and time, and tell them to halve the money and double the time. And the third is, I suggested some metrics that can help you use empiricism to inspect and adapt the efficacy of the budget, both time and money. Number of open impediments, the average age of open impediments, the cycle time of closing an impediment, and throughput or velocity of closed impediments. I hope you found this useful. Would love to see you in my next episode. Until then, thank you, keep calm, and Scrum on.